Welcome, everybody, to the Healing Place podcast. I am your host, Teri Wellbrock, and I am so grateful that you're here. Before we dive into today's conversation, I want to share some beautiful news. The Healing Place podcast has been ranked number 11 in the top 15 healing podcasts for 2026 by PodRanker. And to be included alongside the likes of Oprah and Dr. Tara Brach is something I truly receive with humility and gratitude. This recognition belongs to the entire community, to every guest who has shared vulnerability, and to every listener who shows up ready to grow, reflect, and heal. Whether you're walking through grief, trauma recovery, addiction healing, personal growth, or spiritual expansion, this is your space. A space for compassion, a space for courage, a space for healing. And I am so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting others. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting, loving, liking, leaving your reviews, joining me on my Facebook page of the Healing Place podcast, connecting on LinkedIn, wherever it is we connect. Again, I am so grateful for you, and this wouldn't have happened without you. So thank you. All right, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Healing Place podcast. I'm your host, Teri Wellbrock, and super excited to have with me today Kelsey Aida. And she is, I love this paragraph, so I'm going to read it. Known for guiding women to radical self-love and easily manifesting their dream lives, Kelsey, blah, 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 try that again. Kelsey has helped thousands of people transform through her books, online courses, retreats, and appearances on shows like Mind Love, Spiritual Shit, and Badass Manifester. So welcome, Kelsey.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. And now we can add the Healing Place to the
Oh,
list.
that's right. The Healing Place podcast. Yay. Well, you have a podcast as well, and so many other amazing stuff. And so what is your show?
Yeah, it's called High Vibin It. It's basically like a fun place for the spiritual girlies to hang out. And it kind of feels like, so I have a co-host. It kind of feels like we're just chit-chatting about spiritual stuff, but then other days we're like your big sister, like guiding you through different, more structured episodes. So it's a wide variety of like self-love, manifesting, different wellness experts.
I love it. I love it. I told you I just tuned into an episode before we connected here, and I instantaneously, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to come back and finish the rest of this episode. You caught me from the beginning, so I'm excited to go back in and listen to the rest today. So you said manifesting, and that's that's one of the things I know. I put a little star next to stuff I want to talk about with you and learn from. Um, and I said, well, one, let's talk about your journey and your mission and how you've gotten to this point of really help guiding others along this journey.
Yeah, so my mission started when I healed from depression. And the depression started because I was training my whole life to be a professional ballerina, and I got injured, and then I couldn't become a ballerina, and then I spiraled, and then I got sucked into a depression vortex for about 3 years, to the point of like some really bad days, just wanting it all to end. And towards the end of the 3 years, I had this epiphany that I wasn't always a depressed person. Like at that point, I was used to it because I had been in that state for a while, but I was like, wait a minute, I used to be happy. I used to be healthy. I used to have hobbies. I used to have interests. I used to have energy. I used to have passion and like want to live. Would you look at that? And I was just like, dang, what happened to me? Like, I need to figure out how to enjoy my life again. Otherwise, I'm just going to probably end my life and then make other people have depression, and that's not going to help anybody. So I was like, oh, God, universe, like whoever's out there, whoever's assigned to me, like, please send me help, send resources, send homework. Like, I will do it. I will do anything to feel better. And so, of course, in that prayer, I received a great therapist to start working with. I started working with a shaman. I started reading everything about self-help and spirituality and personal growth. I was listening to all the podcasts, just all the right resources and perspectives and tools found me. and I implemented everything. And eventually I did end up healing from the depression. And on the other side of that, I was just like, dang, this stuff actually works. What the heck? Why aren't we talking about this more? And so I wanted to like be a spreader of the medicine. And I just had this epiphany like, I'm supposed to be an author. I'm going to teach everything I know through books, and that's going to be my thing. Even though I never liked writing really that much growing up, even though, I guess I've always liked reading self-help books and stuff, but I just never really thought of myself in that lens until then. And of course, like I didn't have a following and I didn't want to write a book for no one to read it. So I was like, let me start a blog, let me build up some momentum here. So I did. And then I self-published my first book, which was like an affirmation guide on how to do them, where it's not like being salesy to yourself and like faking it till you make it, but like authentic affirmations. And then that spiraled into book deals, and then eventually the podcast, High Vibin It, and then eventually international retreats where I'm teaching women self-love, and now speaking gigs at corporations and a new book, and just it's all kind of grown over time into this beastly thing with lots of resources to help people just live their best life. Because what I learned when I was depressed was that survival is actually not the most important thing, which I know people would say surviving is the most important thing. No, to me, quality of life is the most important thing. Because if you're willing to take your own life, then what do you care about survival, right? It's like quality over quantity. So for me, I like to help people live a better quality of life through what's helped me: alignment, mindset shifts, being super intentional, having agency and creative ability in your life, and all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And I love it. Like I saw you when you said the big beastly thing, because I love it when those of us take our pain and turn it into purpose, because all of a sudden the seed gets planted when we send those prayers, those messages out into the universe. And then it's like, okay, here's your downloads, or however you want to look at it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, it's blossoming. It's blossoming. And oh, it's like wildflowers. They're spreading everywhere. And then it's like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. And then this is coming at me. But I don't think of it as work. And I get that joy from you. You just radiate joy. I call this my soul work.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like work. Like I get excited today when I was like, oh yeah, I have a podcast at 3. It wasn't like, oh, I have a podcast at 3, It was
Yeah.
like, I have somebody to talk to and learn from. And so, yeah, I just think that's such a gift. And I think the reason it radiates like it does, or spreads and continues to grow, is because your energy is in it, like the work you're doing. And so your energy is just so beautiful and glowing. People can, I mean, I know, like I said, when I listened, as soon as I tuned into the first episode I listened to, I was like, oh, I need to learn more from this person.
Oh, thank you. It's such a good compliment. When people compliment my energy, I'm like, highest praise, because, it took a lot of work to get to this immaculate, energetic state that you see me in now, right? It wasn't just natural. I had to overcome, overcome. But yeah, thank you for saying that. And I also have like in the past made the mistake of calling it a career. My spirit team is like, no, this is just your calling. This is your mission. Like, don't make it businessy. Don't ruin the fun. Like, don't suck the fun out of it by like calling it a business. Like, call it your philanthropy, a lucrative side hobby, like anything besides a business. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Oh, I love that. I love that idea, because I have been like, oh, I need to like make this formal and business. And I'm going on 9 years now. I'm like, why? It's because, people have said, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that. But I thank you. I just learned from you that, yeah, it doesn't necessarily, it can stay my soul work. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I have an LLC for it, but I'm not like, this is my business. Like, it's
yeah.
organized on the back end, but at the same time, when I think about it, I'm not like reporting for duty. I'm like, oh, I have a cool conversation at 3. I'm gonna work on my manuscript at 5, and then I'm going to, go for a walk with my dog, and then I'm gonna record a podcast episode for my show. So it's like just trying to live and flow with it and do it from a place of service, because many years I've done it and it has not been profitable at all. Or I had to put up a lot of money to have the podcast or whatever it is. There's all these expenses of time, money, energy, whatever. And it's like, it's just bigger than me. So I just stay attached to that part of it, like staying on the mission, staying on the
Yeah,
mission.
well, and I'm really glad you brought that up because again, we talked beforehand. I said one of the things I wanted to talk about is tapping into the frequency of abundance so you can manifest more moolah. I said, oh my gosh, I totally need to talk about that because I've never monetized this show. I've never gotten
Mhm.
sponsors. I just never went down the road of,
Yeah.
advertisers or any of that stuff. And again, I know for me, and I've talked about it a time or two on this show, a couple years ago, probably. I grew up very Catholic. My dad was a Jesuit brother for 8 years. And so I grew up hearing money is the root of all evil
Mm.
and, a lot of money stuff. And so I have these money blocks of, oh, I shouldn't ask, people to like pay for a course, or I shouldn't have, be looking for someone to, this is my show. Why should somebody else be sponsoring it and supporting? So I like talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
Is that what you help women with?
Yeah, definitely. And as someone who is a podcaster like you, what I would suggest if you were my client, which you can be my client right now, I would say like the the mission that you're serving at some point in order to grow does require some resources, right? Because if you were making money from the podcast, you could outsource the editing and then you could, finish your book faster or whatever it is. So it's like you have to almost tie the money to the mission in that sense of like, you're not just making money from this stuff just to make money, just to be greedy. It's like you're feeding the machine so it can help more people. So you have to think of it from more that CEO mindset of like, this money is for the purpose to spread the medicine even more. And the aligned sponsors are to like bring attention to your podcast listeners. Hey, look at this super cool product that's going to make your life better. And when you go check it out, it's going to help make the podcast better, which is going to help me bring bigger guests, which is going to help me, So it's all like for a good cause versus I grew up Catholic too. So there's so much shame. There is so much like you're a sinner for being born, you're a sinner for breathing. Everything's a sin, right? It's like, is it truly, or do you think that God truthfully wants you to be resourced and abundant so you can serve your mission even better, even higher, to an even bigger degree?
Yes. Oh, beautifully, beautifully put. And my dad and I mean, again, I adored him. We had wonderful, deep conversations because he was such a theologian. He was in the seminary for 8 years. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. And we would have those exact same conversations because I would give him pushback and be like, Dad, like, what? But then, I'm still like, oh, it's still in there.
Yeah. It's like, you've practiced those thoughts and beliefs your whole life, so it's probably not going to be undone with one, 5-minute session or 1 week or 1 year even. It might take a few months to a few years to kind of retrain your brain into the new way that you want to think about it. But over time, when you catch yourself, oh, yeah, that's just my programming. That's not actually what I want to believe about money. I would rather believe that money is a good tool that can help me help the world more, that can make me more resourced and help me hire support and help me be more energized so the messages can come through. It's like the way that you're framing it and selling it to yourself could be so different. And what I like to remind people all the time is that whenever you have like a desire in your heart or in your soul, like who do you think put it there? Hint, God, hint, source, hint, universe. Like it's not just your wish only for you. Pretty much anything you want to manifest that's worth manifesting is going to also bless some kind of community. So for me to write my latest book, The Manifesting Fix, for me to want it to be a bestseller, guess who's going to receive that? All the people who are reading it. Guess whose lives are going to get changed? All those readers who bought the book. So, is it a selfish desire for me to want to be a bestseller, or does that mean that millions of lives are getting changed? Right?
Yeah.
So, it's like, is it selfish for you to want the money, or is it going to help your mission? Depends how
Yeah.
you look at it, right? And like a lot of people, they say, oh, I want to open a local coffee shop, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. Like, think of who's on the receiving end of that thing being manifested. They also want it to exist. Like, your community is waiting for that cute, vibey coffee shop so they can not have to work from home every single day, right? Your community is waiting for you to start that nonprofit. Like, people are waiting for you to start that podcast, waiting for you to write that book that has the answers to the problems that they've been asking about. So, I like to just zoom out and remind people You might think your desire is selfish, but I would say if you zoom out more, you can see how it might help a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like it just popped into words, just popped into my head of you're the answer to a prayer, a message they've sent out to the universe. And yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Fascinating. That's so cool. Well, thank you for that. And so that steers me then to another thing is manifestation. Like some people will be like, well, that doesn't work for me. And,
Yeah.
I utilize it and it does work. Like we manifested wanting to live on Hilton Head Island and we made that.
Oh, you're in Hilton Head. You're so
Yeah.
close to me. I'm in Charlotte. Well, right outside of
Oh,
Charlotte.
yeah. Yeah. So you're a state away. I'm waving.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I live on this gorgeous island that we vacationed on for 20 years, but we made it happen. And it was really cool the way it happened. Like sold our house in Ohio in less than 24 hours. The stars just aligned and it was so awesome. So, but talk to us about the people who are like, that stuff just doesn't work for me. Hi, everybody. Teri Wellbrock here. Just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about a new storefront that I have. You can go visit amazon.com/shop/Teri Wellbrock. www.amazon.com/shop/Teri Wellbrock, which is TeriWellbrock. And on my storefront, I have created different boards. Some of them are related to healing, and some of them are just some of my favorite products, which bring me joy in my life or have helped me along my own healing journey. So, the things that I have out there right now, there's a wellness and self care essentials that I have on there, and some of the stuff I've talked about on the Facebook page, which is the Brodo bone broth. Wow, try to say that 10 times really fast. Brodo bone broth. My Epsom salts that I order, I buy like this 6-pack because I take Epsom salt baths every day, which has been wonderful. So a bunch of really cool wellness and self-care essentials. I have Music Heals the Soul and some of my favorite albums on there. I have books for transformation. So those are 7 of my most downloaded podcast episodes, the books written by those guests that have joined me on the show. Healing and spiritual growth, books that I've read, 2 of which I've done the audiobooks for as a narrator. So that's another board. I'll be adding more to these. Nature Heals the Soul, some of my favorite nature items that I've ordered. Cozy home comfort. Again, some of the things I've used and purchased, such as my rice bags that I heat up every single night and I put drops of lavender essential oil on it, or sometimes frankincense, sometimes tea tree oil, and essential oils diffuser, so things like that. And then I do have a board that's creativity ideas for podcasters and narrators. So it has the microphone I use and so forth, my Beats headphones, my laptop that I use. So there you go. It's a great way to support the Healing Place podcast without any additional charge to you. So again, if you go to amazon.com/shop/Teri Wellbrock, and you can look through all those boards. And the cool thing is if you click on something, you're like, oh, I really need an essential oil diffuser, but I don't know if I necessarily want this one or it's not in my price range. If you click something else and you keep on shopping on Amazon, because you've gotten into Amazon via my link, I will continue to make commission money off of that, which is, again, a great way to support the show at no additional cost to you. So I so very much appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for being a part of this community. Thanks for sharing and liking and all the things you do to help grow this podcast and continue to help me make it what it is in the healing world. It's much needed conversations on healing and hope. All right, now back to the show.
Yeah, so you've come to the right place. I will say you've come to the right podcast episode because I literally just wrote a whole book about this, so it's very top of mind. But I get why people get frustrated with it because they've been sold an oversimplified version of how it works, and they've been told if you just ask for something because you want it and you ask nicely, you will receive it. But what they left out was the step in between the asking and the receiving, which is the aligning piece, which is where you have to become the next level version of yourself who can receive and sustain that life, which is where you have to make your thoughts in agreement with the things that you want. You have to upgrade your beliefs to be more in agreement with what you want. You have to make sure your actions are bringing you towards your goals. So it's a little more nuanced than just how simple they make it seem. And that's why it's not working for people. And one of the biggest things, really truly the only blockage that stops people from receiving what they ask for or achieving their goals, however you want to look at it, is that they're usually carrying some form of what I like to call internal resistance, and they don't even realize that they have it. So, for example, this can look like I want to manifest more money, but rich people are evil and I don't want to be evil. So I'm going to push it away, right? Or it could be I want to manifest love, but dating apps are horrible. All men suck. I don't want to leave my house, yada, yada, right? Or let's say I want to manifest better health, but going to the gym sounds like a prison sentence, and I don't want to spend money on personal trainer, and I don't want to eat organic, and I hate cooking, and blah, blah, blah. So it's like whenever you have a goal or a dream or something you want to manifest, and you have a but attached to it, usually subconsciously or like secretly in the back of your mind, that's your resistance. And that's what I like to help people find and then troubleshoot, kind of work through it, throw it in the garbage, rewrite it, and then you come into full alignment with what you're asking for, and then it can actually happen for you.
I love it. I love you. I help people find the butt.
Yes. Find the butt, people. Find the butt.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And so, so true. I mean, I've seen it in action in my own life and seen it with loved ones who have said, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, but and then have the but
Yeah.
not willing to make the adjustments
Yeah,
to
because
allow it in. It's really in a matter of allowing it in, right?
it's allowing and it's co-creating. So it's like this push-pull energy, right? Like you, in order to manifest living in Hilton Head, like you still had to take some steps, like listing your house on the market, like packing all your stuff, like bringing it over to Hilton Head. Like some was orchestrated by God and the universe, and some was yours to do and follow through on and get the to-do list. So it's like, it's this dance of sometimes you're taking action towards the goal, sometimes you're receiving the next step. Sometimes we're waiting for things to fall together. So I like to call it an equal mix of like acting towards the goal, taking actual actions, which a lot of people don't talk about that part either. They're just like, ask for it and it'll just show up Amazon Prime style. And I'm like, girl, it does not usually work like that. Sometimes, but not usually. And then the other part being the receiving that you talked about, which involves some becoming work and some identity work. Because if you're not feeling worthy to receive when it comes, you're not going to receive it, right? If you don't feel like you deserve it when it comes, you're going to push it away. So it's like a dance of doing things to help make it more likely that it'll happen, to move in that direction of the goal, and also like coming back to a place of self-love and worthiness so that when it does come to you, you can receive it with humility and gratitude and be super happy and really embrace the new life or the changes that you asked for.
Yes. And again, I say yay, amen, and hallelujah, because yeah. And back to the receiving part of it for a minute. I know for me, I call them angel whispers. I talk about those a lot on this show, and those little taps on the shoulder of, hey, hey. And I find the universe will be like, hello, like they'll nudge it a little harder if I keep
Yeah.
like pushing it away and ignoring, like, no, 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 no. Um, and so that's another thing that you guide people to open up to, like listening to whatever that is, that push, that nudge, that whisper.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's important to keep a direct line open to your spirit team, to source, to God, whoever you like to commune with. Ask them for help, ask them for signs, like ask them to help you out with certain stuff on your life to-do list. They are just ready and waiting for literally for you to assign them something to do. And then when you're not assigning them something to do, they're usually just like trying to make sure the right people are at the right places at the right time. And like, I feel like they're moving us all around like a little chessboard. Like, oh, we're going to put this person here so they can meet this person and they can do this thing. And then we're going to put these people over here so they can fall in love and get married. And we're going to move you here. We're going to divert this person here. And I feel like they're just always moving us around so that everything can work out how it's supposed to.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. And I mean, it still leaves the free will part of it because
Yeah.
we can choose then to be like, no, I
Yeah.
don't, they've brought this person for me to meet, but you don't have to
Yeah.
engage.
No, it's
So,
so true. That's important to address because sometimes my spirit team, they be pushing me too hard and I'll be pushing back. I'll be like, girl, not today. Okay, we're not doing that today. I do not
yeah.
have the energy. You need to lighten up on me. I'm already doing my part to raise the frequency of the earth. Like, lay off, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And another thing, like I've said before jokingly, when I'm in a Epsom salt bath, and relaxing, and I'll be like, all right, I really need a neon sign. Like I'm not talking about a sign. I need the big arrow, the big neon. And sometimes they'll be like, all right, we got you. And other times there's nothing. And then I say, remind myself, oh, because it's not time yet. Like I'll get the neon sign
Right,
when the
when it's
timing is right.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. And speaking of signs, like I like to encourage people to assign a specific sign sometimes for a specific meaning because we can be so dense, right? We're like, was that my sign? And then we like write it off as not a sign. So I like to say, okay, tell your spirit team like if I'm supposed to do this, then show me this specific thing and then wait to see it and make it something like random, like a penguin or like something you wouldn't see normally in daily life. So when you see it, it'll stand out to you as like, oh, shoot, that's my sign. That's definitely my sign. So that's another little pro tip as far as like following, asking for signs. But I actually have a super funny story. In the Manifesting Fix, my latest book that I've been talking about, there's this story where I asked what was I asking? So I have this other book that I wrote called Letters to the Universe, which is like a scripting journal. And in it, one of the questions, the prompts is to assign a sign and for the universe to show you that like what you're asking for is coming true. So you can just like have trust and faith along the way. So I was like, I'm gonna make my sign for this thing a peacock. Okay, so kind of a random animal, not gonna see one anywhere you go. And literally that night, my husband and I got invited to a show, Shenyun. Have you ever seen it? It's
I
like
have
the
not seen
Chinese
it, but
ballet dancing. Oh my gosh, it's
yes.
amazing. You should see it.
I've seen
And
ads for it. Yeah.
yes, it's
Yeah.
so good. So we go to the show, we got invited last minute, free tickets, the whole thing. And one of the dances is them dressed up like golden peacocks. And then at the end of it, on the screen behind them is a humongous golden peacock like projected onto the screen. And I was just sitting there like, well played, Spirit Team. Well played. Because could this be any more theatrical and obvious of a sign? No. And then it was like every day for the next like 3 weeks after that, peacocks, peacocks, peacocks in the most random, obscure ways that you could ever possibly imagine. Like I could not make this stuff up.
Oh my gosh. Well, now I have to share mine really quick because
Yeah.
that is amazing. And I love it so much, especially because they were golden peacocks. Like, oh
Yeah. And
my
they were
gosh.
gold. I didn't even
I
ask for
know.
gold ones.
Right. Oh my gosh. So I was a couple of years ago, had gotten very, very sick after moving into a house that had mold and so forth.
Oh.
So I started on a healing journey with a amazing, amazing practitioner and a holistic practitioner. And so I went up to our little beach area in our neighborhood and I was sitting there and it was just me. And that's very unusual because it's a very busy place. And so it was just me in my chair sitting in the sand. And I'm, tears are streaming and I'm like, all right, God, angels, universe, I need a sign. I need a sign that I am on the right path and I'm going to get better because I was very, very sick. And so I closed my eyes and I said, okay, I need some dolphin of hope. And if you could just send me some dolphin to let me know, that would be great. And I had my eyes closed and I said, okay, dolphin, I'm ready for you. And I opened my eyes. And as I said the words, all these dolphin fins started coming out of the water right in front of me. And I was like, okay, as I'm sobbing. And
Yeah.
then at the last second, like as they're swimming off, I grabbed my phone because I was in such shock, like that I was like, and there they go. But so they became, I still refer to them as my dolphin of hope. So when
Mhm.
I like am just having a rough time or just having one of those days or something's going on off kilter. And so one day I was doing something, life was chaotic. I don't know what was happening, but I was like, oh my gosh, like I just paused for just a second. And I was like, I just really need a sign that you're here. And I bent down and looked under a couch that I was in this other condo. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? And I pull it out. It was a little plastic toy dolphin.
Of
I was like,
course.
all right, I got it. Thank you.
That's amazing. I got full body goosebumps when you were telling the
Oh,
part when you first saw them.
yeah,
Hmm.
I'm not kidding. Like, I really laughed afterwards at my and said, it was almost like, the angels were down there, like with the dolphin, like, hold on, hold on, hold on. And now go. Like,
They're like, don't go, don't go, don't go, go,
I
go, go.
go. Like, it was like the timing, like the Truman Show, like the releasing the deer or something running across. It was like, and now. It's like, all right, I got it.
Yep, it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, and because of that, things shifted. So my mindset, like it was almost like that, okay, okay, thanks. I needed that. And so then I even became more determined then along this path that I was on with this practitioner of even implementing more things to help me heal. And I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. And dolphins are very, whenever I see animals specifically, I like to look up like the spiritual meaning of
Oh,
said
yeah.
animal because every animal has like a message or like a metaphor to kind of give you or some medicine for that moment. And I feel like dolphins, they're super, super highly intelligent. They're like communal beings. They're really smart. They're really fast. They're also very playful and fun. So, yeah, that's so cool
Yeah.
that it's like your special little sign.
It is. It is. Lately, I've been seeing a ton of hawks. So I've looked that
Mhm.
up too, like, oh, you need to see the bigger picture from up
Yep.
high and you're seeing things, you're seeing things clearly. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I do the same.
Amazing. I'm always like, a ladybug, what does it mean? A
Yes.
caterpillar, what does it mean?
What is a golden peacock?
Golden peacock, golden peacock. Yeah, I'm always looking stuff up. Or I'll just like close my eyes and ask for the information. Be like, what does this mean? And then I'll usually get a little ping and I'm like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
satisfied with that.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, how are we doing? Oh my gosh. Well, I could sit here and learn from you for hours. Um, is there anything that you wanted to touch upon that we didn't have an opportunity to?
Mm. I mean, I feel like we did touch on it, but it's worth just reinstating that whatever dreams or desires that you have, they're like really from the heart, like super genuine. Even if they feel too big or you don't know how they can happen, like you owe it to yourself and the world to try and to be open and to be curious and to figure out a way. Because, like we said before, it's not just about you. And even if it was just about you, so what? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with living your absolute best life? Because, in my experience, what I've found is people who are happy and nourished and love themselves, they just go on to bless everybody with their immaculate vibes, with their presence, just with them existing on earth. It makes the earth a better place. One less person that needs to be tended to because they're tending to themselves. So it's like, you living your best life is actually a service you're doing for all. So I just want to give everyone that reframe and permission to want what you want, go for what you want, and if you're feeling stuck around it, find me.
Yes, I that is such a beautiful reframe of that. Yes, and that makes so much sense that I know that was another topic was the self-love part of it. And yes, that one, it's okay to self-love, and two, yeah, how that impacts then the world and that collective energy.
Yeah, because when you're nourished and you're whole and you're happy, think of how you're showing up in life. You're not an energy vampire. You're not needing validation from everyone. You're not a walking red flag going around ruining people's lives, right? Like you're a happy, healthy person who contributes good things to society versus like people who are very depleted and not nourished are basically, having to do the opposite to no fault of their own. It's usually from trauma and stuff, but then they have to get their energy, siphon it from everyone else. They don't know how to validate themselves. They don't know how to comfort themselves. So it's like they're always needing, needing, needing to the point of like sometimes bringing other people down. And we don't want to be that, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
if we
Yeah.
can help it, obviously.
Right. Right. Well, and again, I think the universe, God sends people to continue to cross their path, but if they're not, I've talked about that, about, if they're not open to receiving um, that help, that guidance. So, but that's why we keep crossing the path.
Mhm,
Because one of these
exactly.
days they'll go, oh, yeah, hold on.
And you know what happens too when you love yourself and you're really nourished and you're really lit up and you're just happy and healed and living your best life, like you inspire other people to be better. You inspire other people to follow their dreams. People will come up to you and ask you, like, you're different. Your energy is nice. How did you do that? Like you won't even have to like try and force it on anyone. People will just start coming to you asking, like, tell me your secrets. Well, how are you
Yeah.
so happy all the
Yeah,
time?
right, right, right. So when does you said you have a new book coming out. When does that come out?
Yeah, so the manifesting fix that's going to help everyone who's feeling frustrated or stuck or just ready to experience their next level. That's coming out December 1st, but it's already available for pre-sale. So I know that's kind of far away. So just pre-order it and then you can forget about it. And then Merry Christmas on December 1st, it'll show up at your door and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I ordered this book. I can't wait to read it just in time for the new year." But basically, it'll help you to find any blockages, resistance, stuck points that we talked about earlier and work through them so that you can come into full alignment with everything that you've been asking for and finally make it happen and receive it gracefully.
Yeah. And meanwhile, while they're waiting, they can read your other, what, 4 books?
Exactly. You can read the other books. There's plenty. You can listen to High Vibin It. There's hundreds of hours of content there. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm just Kelsey Aida everywhere. My website is kelseyaida.com. And I think I might start a second podcast too, where I read my Substack essays and newsletters and just like I don't know, just connect with you guys via voice and not just writing. I think it's such like a fun, intimate medium. So stay tuned for that on my Substack, which is called Aligned and Abundant. But yeah, until the manifesting fix comes out, you can just find me online.
All right. Well, that was my last question was how do people connect with you? So there you go.
Yes, yes.
Well, this has been so wonderful. Again, I love your energy. I just want to give you a big heart hug and thank you for being here and shining your light.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us today on the Healing Place podcast. And remember, until next time, be gentle with yourself. Thanks. Bye bye. Hey, everybody. Teri Wellbrock here. Just wanted to take a minute to thank you for being a part of this healing space, for listening to episodes, for liking, commenting, sharing, inviting other people to listen. My heart is so very grateful because the Healing Place podcast is now ranked in the top 1.5% of podcasts in all categories in all the world, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you for being a part of that and helping it get here. And it has been downloaded in 160 countries now. And I Googled how many countries are there in the world, and it said 193 currently. So only 33 left to go to tune in. And a reminder, if you go to teriwellbrock.com, you can sign up to receive my monthly Hope for Healing newsletter, and I'll give you updates on books and audiobooks and podcast episodes and all the good stuff that's coming out. A reminder, in 2025, I co-authored 2 number 1 best-selling books internationally. I think The Magdalene Oracle hit number 1 in 7 countries on Amazon. And then also Brave Kids Volume 3. So very excited about all of these projects that are helping guide others along their healing journey. And I have some other cool projects in the works. All right. Thanks again for being a part of this healing space and all you do to spread the word about this show so that others can find these beautiful healing-filled conversations. Thanks. Bye-bye.